Hey y'all, welcome to what I hope will be a fun, chill video. I don't know about you, but that's exactly what I feel like I need today. We're just gonna kick back and explore the YESSTYLE Advent Calendar. I think this will be a fun video, even if you're not interested in the YESSTYLE Advent Calendar. They sent it to me well in advance, so not only am I able to do the unboxing, and I did take B-roll footage of myself opening off little drawers, and I'll be rolling that as I go through, so you'll get to see what that experience is like. But I can do you one better because I have been playing with some of these products for a while, for a couple of weeks since the Advent Calendar arrived. I've gotten to start using some of the ones that I decided to keep. I've gotten kind of an idea of which ones I'm not going to keep. So for this video, I'm going to be doing a reckoning with the contents of the YESSTYLE Advent Calendar. If you're new to my channel, I'll tell you, reckoning is what I call the process of going through things that I've received as PR, like things that I didn't buy with my own money, and deciding whether or not they're the right products for me to actually keep and use up. So I'm going to go through the entire YESSTYLE Advent Calendar, reckon with everything, and the things that I've gotten a chance to try, I'll actually be able to tell you what it's been like to use them. So it's not just going to be an unboxing, it's going to be a pretty robust exploration of my experience with these products a couple of weeks in. I really don't like it when brands sell grab bag beauty boxes where they're like, we promise that the contents of this box is worth more than what you're paying, but you don't know what the contents are. Because I feel like inevitably, even if there's technically value for money, inevitably you're paying an amount of money that if you were going to spend that amount of money yourself choosing the items, you would have chosen different items. So it's it seems like it works out and they sell it to you on this cost value price math lie, but then it's actually not a good purchasing decision. That's why I'm glad that they sent this out, because if you decide to buy it, you'll know exactly what you're buying and you will really be able to decide if it actually is value for money for you. I'm all about balance here on my channel. I do think that beautiful things can add value to a life, and sometimes buying something exciting can add value to your life, but only if you don't let overspending run rampant in your life. So this is going to be kind of as balanced and as straightforward an unboxing and review video as I can make about this one product. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. So the first thing I'll do is to roll some B-roll footage of the big box, the calendar itself. I could hold it up here, but it won't fit in frame, and I took some really clean, clear footage of it before. So I'll show that. It is very satisfyingly big. It's really, really exciting. When it arrived in the mail and I opened it, I was kind of like, for me? I was like, I don't deserve this. It made me feel like it's something that's really good for gifting. When it arrived in the mail, the feelings that I had about it are feelings that I don't necessarily associate with something that I buy for myself. If I had bought it for myself and then it arrived and I had all these feelings, I would almost feel like I was experiencing gift giving feelings for myself with something I'd bought myself, as if I had bought something for myself that I should have received as a gift. I don't know. I haven't thought this through. I'm trying to articulate something a little bit abstract. But the thing that I was thinking, the really clear feeling that I had was I would love to give this as a gift. I think that if I were ever to buy it, this is spoiler alert, because this is what I was planning to say at the end of the video, but I felt this way before I had even started opening the drawers. So while I'm rolling this footage of the way that the calendar looks when you first open it, I feel like it's appropriate to say, my first reaction was, if I were ever to buy this, it would be because giving it as a gift would be such a satisfying experience. So you can see it's called the Jet Set calendar. There's a ton of skincare. There's a lot of skin rescue skincare involved. And then there's also a hefty sprinkling of makeup. That's kind of the overall vibe that they were going for. And they did deliver on that. I just have the products here laid out before me because I've had them out of their little drawers for a week or two at this point. And I think that that's good because my interaction with them has been disconnected from the excitement of the physical calendar. I don't even have it with me here. I'm just going through the products and reviewing them as individual products. And I feel like that does demystify a little bit the stuff, because it's not so advent calendar-y. It's just a pile of stuff. So that's what I'm reviewing for you, because ultimately that is what it is. I'll still go in order though. I'll go in the order of the drawers, and I'll show you the B-roll of myself opening the drawers. The first product is this I'm from Fig Cleansing Balm. And I haven't actually tried this yet because I try to do like a replacements only strategy for myself with skincare for purchasing, but I also kind of do that with using skincare. Like I already have a cleansing oil in my shower, so I'm not going to take this into my shower and start using it until I finish that one because I don't like having a whole bunch of stuff all going at once. But I am going to keep this. It's definitely going in my backups box. I love a cleansing balm. I'm kind of a monster with them, so I don't tend to buy them for myself. I think of them as sort of treat products because I really, really love using them, but it's pretty much impossible for me to find one that works out to be a good cost per use because I just go through them so much faster than I do cleansing oils. It smells exquisite. I do have experience with I'm From, the brand, because at one point, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, I purchased the I'm From Honey mask, moisturizing face mask. It was fantastic. That is a beautiful mask, a beautiful honey-based moisturizing mask. So I have high hopes for this product, and it also just is very satisfyingly classy. The packaging, it looks and feels great. This is the kind of thing it's exciting for me to find in a box like this because it's a product that I really, really love and I'm happy to have, but that I wouldn't buy for myself. Drawer number 2, day number 2, the Aeromatica Reviving Rose Infusion Cream Cleanser. This looks like a really lovely cream cleanser. The description says, this dense rose foam removes makeup residue, which is like a very poetic sentence. This dense rose foam removes makeup residue. I love a dense foam, right? I love a cream cleanser that turns into a dense foam. It just sounds like it's going to be very satisfying to use. I'm sure it's lovely. I've looked through the ingredients when I was trying to decide if I wanted to keep it or not, and I was like, you know, this looks really, really great. Also, the packaging, it looks very high-end. I feel like it looks more high-end probably than the price actually is, or it indicates a higher price by the way that it looks than its price actually is. However, I am just flooded with second cleansers. I'm drowning in second cleansers. I tend to go through second cleansers at a much slower rate of speed than I do go through balms and oils. So whenever a balm or oil comes my way, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hang on to that. It's like precious jewels to me. And these days when second cleanse and cream cleanse products come my way, if I can bear to give them away unopened, I do that, and that is what I'm going to do with this. It looks like a nice product. I think it's a nice inclusion because it is a big, hefty, full-sized thing. It just feels really great, but I myself don't need it. Day 3, pink raccoony. So in the third drawer, there are these hydrogel eye and cheek patches. This is kind of an interesting thing. So I really love under eye patches because sometimes I wake up in the morning and I look and feel like I was hit by a bus, and a lot of times that goes along with puffy under eyes, and I find that under eye gel patches can really help. I don't particularly like it when they're individually packaged like this. I just feel like that's a lot of plastic waste just for a one-time use product, especially if it's something that you're going to use several mornings. So I like it when they come, 50 to like a jar. I just feel like that's a much better decision. This is a cute product though. There are 3 little heart-shaped sticky gel patches in each thing, and you can tear the heart in half and use like a half a heart under each eye, and then you can use the other 2 hearts, one on each cheek. I haven't actually used these yet, but I'm probably gonna use one, and if I like it I might keep a second one, but I'm going to give all of the rest of them away. I don't need 5 of these. I have under eye gel patches in the jar form that I prefer. So this is another thing that I kind of feel like falls into that category of being a bit indulgent because it is something that I wouldn't buy for myself, but it'll be a fun novelty experience. And for me, this also gives me the benefit of being able to like give them away, like stick the extra ones into packages that I'm sending out in the mail and stuff like that. So I'm not like, oh, it's solid gold. Like I don't really feel the same way about this as I feel about the cleansing balm, which really hit it out of the park for me, but it's cute. On day 5, we have our first makeup product. So in the B-roll footage, you'll see that this came in like a cute little matte peach box. Very exciting. I was excited when I opened this because it's a Rom and quad. And I've been interested in Rom and Makeup since they came out with the Anne of Green Gables collab, which I didn't buy all of. I ended up eventually buying just the one lipstick that's in the color Anne Shirley. It's like my only collector's edition moment in my entire makeup life. Although I guess I did buy that NARS lipstick that was called Pussy Control just because I really loved the name. Those are like the two makeup items across the board, the only two that I have that I pretty much really, really love because of their name. So I have this lipstick by Rom and called Anne Shirley. And there was a little quad like this, a little, maybe it was actually a 9-pan, but there was a little palette with the Anne of Green Gables collection that really compelled me and I almost bought it. So I have this like latent curiosity about the Rom and eyeshadow formula. I have opened this and I've been using it and I can give you all of the tea. I actually have it on my eyes today. I did a look with it today so that you could see the kinds of looks that it tends towards. Like this is the kind of thing that you're gonna get. The only shadow that I didn't use today is this one that's more red. I used this like lighter camel color. I used this mid-deep-ish brown, and I used this one, which is a very, very sparkly sheer shade. I love a sparkly sheer shade like this. It's reminiscent of Kava from the Natasha Denona palette, the gold palette, which is one of my favorite shadows. It's reminiscent of the top part of the Tom Ford cream and powder shadow, and you guys know I use those like crazy. This one, the sparkly one, is most of what I have all over my lids and underneath my brows today, and then I just deepened up the outer corner with this brown one and also put it on the lower lash line, and I just used this camel colored one to kind of blend things out, but it's a lot of this sparkle on my lids. So it's reminiscent of those glitter shades that I love, but it's just drier. It doesn't have that stickiness. It's a bit dusty. A lot of the glitter dusts away. You can get a really beautiful look with it, and they are blendable, pretty easy to use, and I do really like this brown for just doing like a neutral, sort of semi-deep outer corner, just like a little bit of light, neutral glam, smoky business like I've got going on today. It's beautiful, and every time I've used this, I've loved the eye look that I've come up with. But I can do looks like this so easily with other palettes that I have, with palettes that I build out of my singles, so that I don't need to keep this. I can give it away to a friend who will really delight in it and who will like be guided by it to do beautiful looks like this. I really have enough of this kind of thing. So I'm glad that I got to test it, but it didn't really end up kind of adding value for me beyond just the excitement of getting to try it, because I don't feel like I need to add this to my permanent makeup collection. Okay, this mask, this is the next one. We're on 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on day 5. The Trioworky Cell Energy Mask Formula. So I tried this last night because I knew I was going to be doing this today and I hadn't tried it yet. So I put it on, 10 minutes before I hopped in the shower, because it says to leave it on for 5 to 10 minutes. 10 minutes before I hopped in the shower so that I could like have the experience. It says it's a deep cleansing mask and kind of like an energizing and cell renewal mask. What it is a basic clay mask that has some kind of like skin stimulating ingredients in it. I think some of what it has is lavender essential oil. I felt like I could really smell that. And it almost smells like, not almost, it smells exactly like chamomile lotion, and it did have that sort of chamomile-y soothing feeling quality. Like it felt like it had clay particles suspended in the cream of the mask. It felt like as it was setting on my skin, it was kind of sucking stuff out of my pores. It's like that kind of clay mask, but not super intense. The smell was it did feel and smell a little bit medicinal. I don't love that it has that lavender essential oil in it, but I also do feel like my skin responded really well to it. I feel like it was smoother after I washed it off. It was great this morning. It was very pleasant, ease of use. I am going to keep this, I think, and continue using it. So it's not like, my top 10 skincare products, like I'm going to keep buying it. It's totally amazing. I mean, after one use, who knows, maybe it'll grow on me. But it didn't 100% blow me out of the water in terms of the ingredients list. But in practice, it was very satisfying, and I did get good results from it the first time. It also has a lot of niacinamide in it. So that is one of the things on the ingredients list that stood out to me as being great. Like the first couple ingredients are good. It's like good clays, 2 different kinds of clays for helping to clear out your pores and smooth your skin, and a ton of niacinamide. Just that further down on the ingredients list, some of those essential oils sneaked in, and I wasn't so hot on that. Day 6, we have this Claire's product. I have put it back into its box, but I think I do have a close-up of the naked bottle that I'll roll at some point, so you'll be able to see that. I put it back in its box because I am going to give this away. I'm going to put it in my gift pile. It says it's the Claire's Fundamental Watery Oil Drop. So I think that it's like an oily, actually, Okay, I just tested it on the back of my hand because I hadn't opened it. I hadn't tried it because I decided that I was just going to give it away based on the fact that it's just a hydrating serum. It's like a really nice hydrating serum. And I have so many of that type of thing, the like essence stage or the serum stage in my skincare routine. So when a new thing comes my way that falls into that category, I tend to pass it on because I just fear that I'll never get to it and I feel like someone else would get better use out of it. But I think I hadn't read it closely enough to realize that it's an oil serum. It's not a biphase, but it's definitely a watery serum that leaves like an oil finish. And that's actually something that I really, really like. I have another K-Beauty product. This is the Nacific Fresh Herb Origin Serum, which is also available on YESSTYLE, and you can see that I've almost completely finished it. I tend to reach for it instead of any of my other basic hydrating watery serums because it is a biphase. So it goes on like a liquidy watery serum, but then it leaves behind a feeling of like a grippy residue of oil that I feel like locks in moisture. And this isn't exactly the same because when I put it on the back of my hand, it started out feeling just watery, like just a straight up hyaluronic acid serum or something. But as it soaked in, it left behind that same kind of finish, that same kind of tacky feeling that the Nacific one does. And I'm about to run out of this and I was like sad about it because I really love that type of product. So this is like an upset, but I'm gonna keep this. I'm actually gonna keep it and start using it, and then we'll see. I'll put it into my like actual reckoning because I'm keeping it to test. I was going to give it away unopened, but I'm actually going to keep this to test and I'll let you know whether I decide to finish the whole bottle when my actual official reckoning comes around. So day 7 is another makeup product, and this is one that I am definitely going to give away. I've put it back in its box and everything. It is one of those tints, one of those lip tints, kind of like a jelly style lip tint. It's the Tint Fit Shine from Moonshot, I believe. Yeah, so there are 2 reasons why I decided to pass this along untested. I don't want to sully it by touching it to my lips, so I'm not actually going to test it on my lips. I'm sure it's a lovely product. This kind of product really feels lovely, really lovely to apply, beautiful packaging, everything about it is nice, but it's in a berry color, and I'm not really a berry kind of bee over here. I don't really like berry makeup. Pink and berry toned makeup isn't my favorite. And also this like lip tint, jelly lip tint style of product, it tends to really stain my lips and then turn like a fluorescent azalea fuchsia on my lips. And it's like this indelible stain. And I know that some people really like that and some people really love this sort of product, but I already know that I don't really get along with this kind of product. So I am going to give this to a friend. This next one, the day 8, was one of the most exciting things to unbox because just look at it. I mean, just look at it. And also, does it not match my blouse? I just feel like this is very extra, but it's extra in the way that I love because it's so aesthetic. It's so beautiful. It's a black tin and the eye cream is in this like foam setting in here. It's like some sort of Apple product, but it's just, you know, a little tube of eye cream. However, I'm so impressed by this that I definitely want to keep this and use it. And also, I think that the last eye cream that I gave to Joe to use, I think he's about to use it up. So I might actually give this to him to use. But yeah, I feel covetous towards this just because it's so very beautiful. And luckily, eye cream is also something that is useful to me and just useful in my household. If it weren't, if it were like a jelly lip tint that were packaged like this, I would give it away even though the packaging is so beautiful. But I'm glad that my affinity for this beautiful packaging happens to match with the fact that it's a product that I feel like I can use. So day 9 is another thing that I feel like is a great little treat and especially great for me because I can give the other 2 away. It's 3 of these foot peeling treatments. So I did one of these a while back. You put on, inside of each of these little things is a little sock that you put on, like a little plastic sock, and you tie it at your ankles, and then either the solution is already in it or you pour it in. I'm not sure because I haven't tried these. It looks like the solution's already in it. So this one, you just put the little sock on your foot, leave it for 60 to 90 minutes, and it's like a deep exfoliating treatment for super, super stubborn, thick layers of dead skin. So while your foot is soaking in it, that solution gets in, it like soaks deep into the skin on your foot. and then it takes some time to work, but like a week and a half or 2 weeks later, it all starts peeling off. And it's very satisfying, kind of disgusting, but in the best way. And the treatment that I did was, I like at the beginning of the pandemic, I think. It was maybe like 5 months ago, and it was great. But as soon as it was over, I was like, I want to do that again. I was like, I want another one. So I'm glad that this has come my way. I'm going to keep one, but I'll give the other two away. And the first people who I'll offer them to are the people I live with. So I might see if Julia and Oliver or Joe wants these. And if not, I'll just send them to friends or family members in the mail. Day 10 is something that's right up my alley and that I was really excited to get. And this is actually something that I've been using. I've used this quite a bit, so I can give you, again, like the eyeshadow palette, all the tea. So it's the Medicia, oh, I think it's probably Medicica, because it's like a Cisapair. I wonder if it's pronounced Medicissa. It's got Centella Asiatica in it as like a main ingredient, or it's like the main ingredient that they're touting. I love Centella Asiatica. I think it's often a recommendation for people with sensitive skin, skin that's prone to redness, skin that needs to be like evened out and brightened, and those are like all of my issues. So I've used a lot of Centella Asiatica creams in the past. I've used a lot of K-Beauty Centella Asiatica creams, kind of like these basic Cisapair medical type Centella Asiatica branded things. Like it's just another one of those. It reminds me of like a less frou-frou version of like the Dr. Jart Tiger Balm. That's basically what this is. So I've been piling this on as like a night cream at night, like putting it on top after all of my other skincare, and it's worked great for that. I've also been using it a little bit just in the mornings as a serum. I know that my skin is loving this. It's just like drinking it right up, and I'm probably just going to keep barreling through this tube until it's empty. So this is great. But I didn't tell you the brand. It's Dr. Troubleless Medicisa Calming Cream. I think that that's probably the way that you say it. The next product is another makeup product. This one's pretty funny. I feel like it's trying to be a dupe in almost every way for the Stila Magnificent Metals Glitter and Glows from back in the day. It's called Jewel Potin Eye Glitter. And it's in a really pretty copper color. It's number 03. I have used this. So I've had it out. I've been using it. It basically, I'm saying that it's a dupe because it's that type of product. It's like a liquid glitter, but also the packaging, the sort of dull matte gold lid, the font, even the font, like it just looks very, very much like those Stila products in certain specific ways. And I have, should I put it, I'll put it on my lids right now and you can kind of see. So you can see it definitely added like more sparkle. I just tapped it in the middle of this lid. It definitely added more sparkle than was already on my lid, added a little bit of color. It's already dried down, so it's really easy to use and it's bulletproof. It's basically just like the Stila ones, but maybe with a little bit less consistent glitter, with maybe a little bit less packed glitter. Although I feel like the Stila ones, like they varied among the colors in terms of like how much glitter they had in them. So some of them did apply exactly like this. Yeah, it's a very nice product. I'm kind of tempted to keep it. I know that I have so much beautiful makeup, and this is also really tempting to give as a gift because it's such a nice thing. So this is a curious case. I feel like it's a little bit of a split decision because I would say that for me, this is value added in this advent calendar. Like if I had bought it myself, I would be like, oh yeah, they nailed it for me with this because this is the kind of thing that I really like and it performs really well. But due to my specific circumstances as a micro influencer where I get some PR and I have more makeup than I would have if I were only buying my own, and I love to give gifts. Due to those circumstances, I'm actually going to pass on this. I'm going to give it away. The next day, day 12, is another makeup product, but this is one that I'm going to give away without even opening it because it's a mascara. And this is once again due to those aforementioned circumstances. I actually think this is kind of like a similar split decision because I feel like a mascara, I don't know if this is a good one or not. Unfortunately, I can't actually review this one because if I did that, I would have to take it out and try it on and then I wouldn't be able to give it away because it wouldn't be sanitary. But if I didn't have backup mascaras, like if I didn't have other mascaras that had come in PR, mascara is a great thing to receive in a box like this because it's a thing that many people use, even a lot of people who don't use any makeup. Like my friend Julia, who I'm living in her house, she never she doesn't never wear makeup, but she rarely wears makeup. But when she does, it's almost always just mascara. And I feel like it's that way for a lot of people. So if there's somebody out there who's like really mostly interested in the skincare and they know that most of the makeup they're going to give away or all of the makeup, there's a chance that this mascara might be something that they actually keep. So I do think that it's a good inclusion in a box like this to have a mascara, but I just don't need yet another one sitting around that I have to open and test. And you know, I always love to be able to add things to my giveaway box. So that's where this is going to go. It's a Mizon product, a Mizon Collagen mascara. So it's claiming to have some skincare benefits, or I guess like lash care benefits. I have tried the Mizon Snail serum before, way back in the day before I started my YouTube channel, and it is a good brand. So I would say that I'm inclined to think that they probably did a decent job with this, but I really don't know. Okay, day 13. This was very exciting for me to open because I love this yellow. It's just, I opened the drawer and I was like, oh, it's cool. It's just fun. It is exciting. The process of opening the calendar is exciting. So this is by Wish Trend. It says the Sulfur 3% Clean Gel. And this is a spot treatment product, or it can also be like a full face treatment product if you have like really troubled skin all over your face. But it's an acne product, and is it the first? I mean, I guess that the clay mask would be good for acneic skin. This would definitely be good for acneic skin, but this is the first of several products in this box that are specific to acneic skin. The box is pretty heavy on acne treatment products. That was something that I noticed when I opened it for the first time. And this is the first one. And some of them I've tried. I do have acne prone skin. My skin's in pretty good shape right now, but it's something that I battle with from time to time. So I'm always glad to have a little something like this in my back pocket. I think for that reason, I'm going to keep this and try it out so that I can review it for you in my other reckoning, because I do feel like I'm a person who has a lot of experience with like acne spot treatment products, and I will be able to let you know after I've had occasion to try it whether or not this is a good one. And then whether or not I keep it after that will just depend on like what I've got going on and what else I decide to keep. But for the time being, this one is staying. This is value added to me because this is the kind of product that I do use. Like I always have something like this, a spot treatment, in my collection somewhere. So if I were just a regular consumer and I had bought this, I personally, with my skin, I would be like, oh yeah, this is the kind of thing that I would have had to buy at some point if it hadn't come in this box. But I feel like I do need to point out that if you don't have acneic skin, there's going to be a lot of stuff in this box that you'll never be able to use, because you'll see as we go through, there are a number of products like this coming up. And actually the next one has come up right away. It was the next drawer. So in the very next drawer on the very next day is this All Care Recovery like patches. So it's a Purito product. I think Purito is a great brand. The couple of things I've tried from them, skincare products, have all been very impressive. Great sunscreen. They have a really, really great mineral sunscreen. So I'm inclined to think, oh yeah, maybe this is like a good product. It says that it's an anti-acne scar patch and also an acne soothing patch. So it's something that you could use even if you don't have acne, if you have like discoloration or scars on your skin, maybe from old blemishes or other things from your past. So I guess it is something that could work for more than just people with acne, but it is like hydrocolloid and metacasic acid patch. So I think like it'll really be amazing for someone who gets blemishes and wants to like stick a little thing on overnight and calm it down. This kind of thing does work really well. I have gone through these kinds of things for blemishes, and especially if you can like treat your skin, treat your blemish, and then sleep with a patch like this, kind of like stifling it, it goes a long way towards making sure that it never gets as big as it might otherwise have gotten, or that it heals quickly if you're kind of like getting it on the downswing. So again, for me, this is a great inclusion. I really like this type of product. So day 15 is another serum. Like it's just another, straight up kind of viscous skincare serum step skincare product. It's the iUnique Black Snail Restore Serum. And actually, so when I first opened this, I was kind of like, all of these serums, I'm just going to give them all away. But I kind of feel inclined, I haven't tried this yet, but I kind of feel inclined to keep this one as well for two reasons. One, I think iUnique is a really good brand. I feel like even in the realm of K-beauty, where there are a lot of really good skincare brands, there are a lot of really good skincare products, and a lot that I get along with, I feel like iUnique is one of the ones that I have the most interest in. I've heard Hyram speaking quite highly of them, I think in large part because their products are unscented. They don't have fragrance in them. So I am inclined to be like, oh, maybe I should try it because it's from my unique. But also it's a black snail restore serum. And I used to be really into snail serums, again, like back before I started my YouTube channel when I was first getting into K-beauty, because I have scarring and redness, and those are the kinds of things that snail serums are supposed to help with. It's like an intense regenerative ingredient. But I haven't had one in a really long time. So I would like to revisit this brand and revisit this ingredient. And for that reason, I'm going to keep this and try it, even though it's in this category of things that I do feel sometimes like I have too many of. But what I'll do is, again, I'll try this and then I'll reckon with it again, and I'll let you guys know how it went. So the day 16 product is another acne. No, is that right? No. I mean, I think this would be good for people with acneic skin, but it's not advertised specifically as an acne product, but it is another Centella Asiatica product. So this is basically a powder form of that ingredient, that like calming, soothing ingredient. And you can add the powder to other serums if you want to add more Centella Asiatica into your skincare routine, which is fine. But it's like, I've already got Centella Asiatica in my skincare routine, like just from this calendar, and I also have other products with it in. And I don't like this like adding in a powder. I feel like it's just kind of fussy. It's not the kind of thing that I'm drawn to, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this one away. Ooh, this is another one that I was really excited to open because it's yellow. I don't know, for some reason these yellow products really like got me going. When I opened the drawer, I was like, it's so yellow, it must be really special. So I was initially really excited when I opened this. It's the Yuja Niacin Brightening Sleeping Mask. So it's got a lot of niacinamide in it, 5% niacinamide, and it's in such a beautiful jar. Like I live. Maybe I should do like an Instagram post with these two yellow products because I just feel like they're speaking to each other and together they're speaking to me. So very beautiful, very fun. The fact that there's a lot of niacinamide in it is promising, and it's so fragranced. It's like, it smells like a cocktail, like it really smells like an alcoholic cocktail. And I don't think that it has alcohol in it. Like I don't think that I'm smelling like the ingredient alcohol that like dries out your skin and all that stuff. I think that it's just it's like citrus. And so it's making it smell like some kind of citrus liqueur based drink. It's like, it smells like a Negroni or something. It's very pleasant. Like it's intoxicating. I really love how it smells. But usually I would be the first out the gate to try a sleeping mask. Like I love a sleeping mask. And I've been a little bit leery of this one because it's so scented. So I've surprised myself by not managing to try it even since the advent calendar arrived. And I feel like maybe that means I should just give it away. But I don't know. The jury's still out. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to keep it on my vanity for another week. And if I am deterred every night from trying it because it's so scented, then I will give it away at the end of that week. If I try it, then if I really like it, I'll keep it and keep using it. And if I feel as though maybe the scent has like dried out my skin or it was just too much or something, if the experience isn't good, then I'll give it away. So I think I'm gonna just like give myself a little more time to decide about this one. It's really, really beautiful. I just wish that the scent weren't so strong. It makes me suspicious. All right, we're back on the makeup game for the next day. This is a really lovely inclusion in the calendar, really pretty, but it's one that isn't value added for me, once again, because of the berry toned color. So it's a lipstick that feels pretty high end. It says Urban Pearlization Velvet Lipstick. It's in number 5. It's by the brand Clavu, which I haven't heard of before. It has a magnetic case, like just like the Lisa Eldridge ones. Like it feels like that. And it doesn't have like a velvet printed texture, of course, but it's supposed to be like a velvet finish. The bullet looks really pretty. Smells like lipstick. I'm just excited to give it away brand new because I know that this color isn't for me. I do think it's a pretty versatile color though. I could see a lot of people liking it. I wish they'd gone with something like more brown toned. I think that would have been exciting and a little bit more fresh, but it's sweet to have like a really nice lipstick in here. Like I think that they made a good choice. It's just not for me. I feel the same way about the next product, and you'll see in the unboxing footage that it came in a little foil pouch that I then opened, and you can't like put it back in its box because it comes in this like pouch packaging. So I took it out so I could see what it was, and it's an adorable little lip gloss. It's this kind of lip gloss with like a squeezy, it's got sort of that angled plastic tip and a hole in the middle where it squeezes out, kind of like old school Blistex. But it's adorable because there are little glitter hearts inside of the pink gloss. Like, I feel like I'm gonna give this away because I have plenty of lip glosses, and you know, I don't need to just like try this novelty thing once and then make it so that it's not brand new and it's a little bit more awkward to give it away. I'm sure it's fine, but I would rather give it away than try it for myself. And I might give it away to like a little kid. Like, I feel like it's very, there's a lot of like cute kitschy stuff that I feel like works great for kids but also for adults, and I feel like this is just begging to be given as a gift specifically to an actual child rather than just being like redolent of childhood. Cute, but not something I need, so not for me. Okay, day 20 is another serum-y, like basic serum-y skincare product, and this is one that I am going to give away. So it's the Isotree Hyaluronic Acid Water Essence. It's just a straight up super hyaluronic acid serum. It says 8 types of hyaluronic acid. I'm sure it's absolutely fantastic. I just already have hyaluronic acid in my skincare routine, and I would love nothing more than to give this away as a gift. Hyaluronic acid serums, it's something that many of my friends who are on the receiving end of stuff that I end up not keeping myself come back to me and they're like, hyaluronic acid serum changed my life. Like, I've been doling them out because like a number of them have come my way. It's been like really trendy in skincare over the past couple of years. So that's why I don't need to keep this one, because I really, you know, I have one, like I'm doing fine, but it won't be the first one I've given away. And again, like I always get this like really positive feedback, especially when paired with just a straight up lactic acid serum. So when someone comes to me and they're like, I don't know what to do with my skin, I've never done anything, what do you say? I'm always like, get yourself like a really basic lactic acid serum, like the one from The Ordinary, just like a couple of dollars, and then get yourself a hyaluronic acid serum and use them together. And every time I've said that to someone and then they've done it, they've come back to me and they're like, I'm transformed. They're like, I'm a baby now. Like it can really make a huge difference in your skin. So I'm psyched to have this in my giveaway box. Day 21. This is a product that I have used. It's the AC Clear Spot Magic Powder. So it says antibacteria, calming, and alleviates skin trouble. This is very much like a calamine lotion, like it's a liquid with a suspension of particles in it, also kind of like the Mario Badescu spot treatment, although I don't think that this is a sulfur treatment. I think it's a little bit more just antibacterial and soothing. I have a blemish, like a really big blemish. Sorry, my voice is starting to sound weird because I'm tilting my head up. I'll just show it to you. It's not very big anymore. I misspoke. It was a really big blemish a couple of days ago, and I've been putting this on it for a couple of days and nights in a row. I just open it up and put my finger over the opening, tip it onto my finger, and then, you know, it has like a little spot of really goopy wetness, really like a suspension of a lot of sediment in a liquid, and I just dot it on there. It dries and then it just becomes sort of like a layer of goopy powder on the blemish. And I do think it has helped calm down that blemish. I think it probably didn't get as bad as it would have gotten if I hadn't used it. So I'll probably keep this around for a little while. I think having this and this, they're both like spot treatments for blemishes. So I don't know, it's kind of like you're doubling up on yourself here, YESSTYLE. And also, I don't know if I need to double up like this. So I'll probably keep testing this one, start testing this one, and then I'll probably give away whichever one doesn't work quite as well as the other one for me. All right, closing in on it, peeps. Day 22 is something that I'm really happy to see. It's a couple of sheet masks. So this is the Neogen Probiotics Relief Mask, Biotechnology Skincare. And you know, I don't tend to really care about the claims of sheet masks. I just really like the physical reality of it. Like, you put on all your skincare and then you put something on top of it, like this really juicy layer that's just gonna like pack everything into your skin. Leave it on until it's dried out because your skin's like drunken up everything that was in your skincare routine and in the mask. I love that as a way of pampering myself, but I don't really go out there buying expensive sheet masks for sure. And you know, these days I've kind of, even when I run out of ones that have come in PR, I tend to like not replenish them. I used to do that. I used to buy like really inexpensive packs of like, you know, 15 for $10 from Amazon and then just like go through them a couple a week. These days I'm a little bit off of my sheet mask game. So when they come to me like this, I'm always like, yay, I'll get to use these sheet masks and it'll be so fun. So I haven't tried this yet, but I'll use one. And if it's just okay, if it's just like a regular sheet mask, I might give the rest away because it's also something that's really easy to send to the mail and really fun to give away. And again, I'm not feeling like I need to hoard sheet masks over here right now. Maybe I'll like keep one or two for myself. But if I try them and I really, really love them and it's like the best mask ever, then I'll just keep them and selfishly use them all. I'll let you know in my empties which of those two things happened because I'm guessing that one of these is going to be in my empties the next time I film in empties. All right, day 23, the second to last day. And the day on which it became very exciting for a little Hannah, because one of my true holy grail products, although we all know there's no such thing as a holy grail, but if there were a holy grail primer, then this would be mine. It's the VDL Lumi Layer Primer. And I actually have one of these that was given to me as a gift that's in my backups box. I'm basically like baiting myself to use up my other primers until I have none so that I can allow myself to pull that one out of my backups box and start using it. But I've actually made really good progress on my other primers. Like I'm almost there and I was starting to kind of lose patience. Like I was this close to getting the other one out of my backups box and just like using it again and like living my best life again. And when this came in the advent calendar, I was like, all right, it's over. I'm going to start using it again because now I have 2 full-size bottles and it's just ridiculous to like keep both of them locked away until I finish the other primers that I don't love as much. So I think I'll talk about it in like a Shop My Stash or makeup organization video, but I think I might go ahead and like retire I think my one primer that I was struggling to get through the last bit of. There's one green primer that came my way recently that I really love, so I'll keep that one. But it's pretty much just going to be me and the VDL Lumi Layer Primer from here on out. So this knocked it out of the park for me. This is something that I would buy with my own money. I probably will buy with my own money at some point in the future. So this is like 100% value added. I'm so excited that they put a full size of this primer into the advent calendar this year. And then day 24, the final day, the big cheese, the big surprise is this face contour lookbook from Agatha Face. This is very sweet. I think it's a lovely thing in theory to have like as a last day. I think that if you are someone who really doesn't have that much makeup and like the makeup that you do have, you get it from this kind of thing. So you're like not that picky about like your blush or your highlight and, you know, getting a little thing like this where you have like an orange blush that might be something you'd never buy for yourself, or like a pink blush, or even something kind of brown that you'd never buy for yourself. Then as long as this works for your skin tone, and that's kind of a big but, because I'm not totally sure. I'm giving this away, so I haven't tested it. I don't really know what the pigment level's like, and I don't really know what the sheerness or reflex of the highlighters are like. So these could end up being like really sheer and something that would work for most people. This could be really pigmented, this orange blush, and maybe it would be something that would be pretty versatile across skin tones, but it doesn't necessarily really look like it right off the bat. So this might be something that is going to exclude certain people. Basically, I feel like this is going to either be a huge hit or a huge miss. I could see it being a huge hit for a whole bunch of people who are like, this is the most blush and highlighter I've ever had in my life. It's so beautiful. I can't wait. And like the little book is absolutely adorable. It's like really well packaged, very sweet. I love this like matte dove gray cardboard. It's covetable, it's lovely. It has like this shiny spine. So everything about it in that way, like the aesthetics, the presentation, the choice of it as the final thing is lovely, right? But if it's a miss for you because you're like a real makeup aficionado and you already have all the blushes and highlighters that you need, and you really don't need like a face palette like this that only works for some people, or maybe you do love some of these colors, but others of them you're not going to use. And so in that way, it's like only some of it is valuable for you. I could just see a lot of situations in which this one will be a miss. So I'm glad to be able to like show it to you, show you exactly what it is, and then you can judge for yourself whether or not you would be glad that this was in the box. I have plenty of makeup, and even though this brown shade is very alluring to me and I would like to swatch the highlighters and see how they swatch just out of, raw curiosity, I'm going to give it away untouched because I think that'll make it a much more special gift. So that is it. Those are all of the products. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sort them out in front of me. I'm going to put all the ones I'm keeping on one side and the ones I'm not keeping on the other, and I'm going to tell you how the numbers have broken down. Okay, at a glance, it looks like half and half. I'm sure it's not exactly half and half, but I just wanted to tell you that that's like kind of the gist of it. Like that's like the feeling. I feel like a lot of times the feelings about the numbers kind of matter more than the numbers. So looking at it now, I'm like, oh, I'm keeping about half of this stuff. Granted, some of the things I'm keeping to continue testing and then may not end up ultimately keeping. But half of these things really like called to me enough or spoke to me enough that I was like, oh yeah, that's worth my continued time. Now let me count them up. So I am giving away 19 of the individual items that were in the calendar, and I'm keeping 15. Those two numbers add up to more than 24, and that's because I was counting each individual of this kind of thing as one because I split them up. So I'm keeping one of these and I'm giving away 3. So I counted each thing individually, and it's 19 things that I'm giving away. So it's actually more than half that I decided not to keep. Of course, we have to keep in mind that I receive the occasional PR from brands, and I even received the occasional PR from YESSTYLE. So, I'm swimming in hyaluronic acid serums, and that wouldn't be the case if I didn't have a YouTube channel and if I didn't sometimes receive products for review. I'm also swimming in second cleansers, and that also wouldn't be the case if I didn't sometimes receive products for review. So in the group of 19 products that I'm giving away, many of them I'm giving them away because of that. I'm giving them away because I already am a little bit super saturated, and that's because of my unique position. And I know that a lot of consumers are out there who are thinking about maybe buying this aren't in that same position. So you'll have to make your own decision, like going through product by product. But stepping back and kind of looking at the question of value for money, yeah, the individual retail prices of all of these, if you were to go to YESSTYLE and put all of this stuff into your cart, you would be paying way, way more to check out with that cart than you'll be paying for the advent calendar. But that only holds water if you are a person who really would not necessarily buy all of this stuff at once under normal circumstances and without some kind of bundle deal, but who would buy this kind of stuff, who would spend the cost of the advent calendar on this kind of thing. Like if you know that in the coming year, you are going to end up spending $160 or $170 on products that are the exact kinds of products that are in this calendar, or more, if you know that like your own budget for skincare and makeup will eventually add up to the amount that this calendar costs, and it will be these exact products or products similar to them, then it totally makes sense. Then it's like you kind of are saving money by like buying them all at once and then being able to go through them. But if you know that you're going to end up giving a bunch of this stuff away, I mean, that could be a benefit if it's like your way of buying gifts and then you'll like have gifts you can give away for the holidays. If that's going to save you money because you would have had to buy gifts other than that, if you weren't like getting some gifts via this advent calendar, then it could potentially work out. But if you know that you're just going to end up with like a whole pile of stuff like I have, like a pile of half of it that doesn't float your boat for some reason, like you don't like berry toned lipstick, or you don't use eyeshadow on your eyes, or you don't have acne or something, don't get duped by the excitement of like all of the little drawers and how good the value is and all of that stuff. Don't get duped into spending money that you can't afford, money that would be better spent on something else. I think that I have to confess that if I had the choice between buying this advent calendar with $160 of my own money and going on YESSTYLE and spending $160 on products of my choice, I would probably choose the latter because I'm really into fewer, nicer things. So I would be like looking around for maybe a really beautiful piece of Shiseido makeup. Like they've got these gorgeous foam, like Shiseido cream blushes in pots that are like $40 or $50. So if you were like, you can spend $160 on YESSTYLE, I might like take the money and run. I may like go to YESSTYLE and just like buy fewer things, buy fewer nicer things than this with that same amount of money. But of course, I'm speaking as someone who kind of is good for skincare right now. So I feel like once your necessities are taken care of, like the things you need to keep your skin healthy, then you can kind of afford to take the money and run and to choose fewer nicer things. As I always say, I cannot tell you if it's worth it because worth is relative. Worth is relative to your life, your bank account, your decision-making process. You are the only one who can know if anything is worth it to you. Sadie came through to say hi. Look at her little tail. Sadie, look at this bean. Did you know that Sadie was just a bean? Okay, so that's it. That's my, as best as I could review everything. I wish I could have tried everything, but of course there are several products that I'm giving away unopened, and I didn't have time to really thoroughly try every single thing, but I did my best. Again, I really appreciate YESSTYLE for sending this well enough in advance that I was able to give like a full, thorough, and balanced assessment of it. Don't get carried away. Don't get swept up in the hype, you guys. If this isn't a good purchase for you, like if you're here, if you've clicked on this video because you're trying to talk yourself into buying it, if this isn't a good decision for you, if dropping that $160 or $170 really isn't in your cards right now, but you're like out here on YouTube looking for permission, like you're looking for someone to be like, oh yeah, I really think it's great. Listen to yourself, like listen to your inner voice, listen to your heart of hearts. If it's not a good choice for you, you'll know in your heart of hearts, and you don't need me to tell you. I would say just really, really listen to yourself. And if it is a good decision for you, I think you'll know that too. It won't feel fraught. It'll feel kind of like exciting and elegant, and you'll know that you will end up saving money in the long run because you're basically doing a bundle buy of stuff that you know that you will inevitably spend the money on. Of course, that theory only works if by buying this, you then keep yourself from buying new things. You know, if you buy this because you love a cleansing balm, but then in 2 months another skincare brand comes out with a brand new cleansing balm, and instead of using this, you buy that. If you're going to be like chain buying stuff, then call it off because it's not worth it. Like it's not worth it to stock up on skincare and then continue buying new skincare. It's only worth it to stock up on stuff if it's going to actually save you from buying more of that same kind of stuff. This is a situation in which, having like opened it and gone through it, I can really see it going either way depending on your circumstance. So the ball is absolutely in your court. Thank you for watching. I hope that this was a fun one. If there's something that you're curious about that you feel like I have the tools to answer, like a question that you think I have the tools to answer that I didn't answer, leave it in the comment section down below, especially if you do that in the first couple days after this video goes up, then I will see it and I'll be able to respond. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself today so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.